Okay. Hello everyone. This is Crypto Corner video podcast live stream number 50. 50 podcasts this year. I started Crypto Corner this year. Last year my podcast was called Bitcoin Simplified, and now I think most of you are already familiar, so I don't really have to simplify it anymore. So today what I'm going to talk about is I did this as a post on Facebook, how to turn $650 into $4,000. Of course, this is hypothetical, and also this is why I'm adding this disclaimer at the beginning of the video that this is not really a financial advice, it's my own opinion. And if you are choosing to follow it, you still need to do your own due diligence and research, okay? So make sure that you are familiar with what I'm talking about and that you know everything. But also I'm going to include here, don't take my word for it, I'm not really an expert, but I am going to include here a video which will throw a lot of light on why do I think that Bitcoin can actually reach the price that I'm going to predict here. I'm not really doing a prediction, I'm actually following what other researchers and professionals are doing. Now, I also will be announcing winners of the Revolut Card that I announced last week. In my previous podcast from last week, I had a mini contest where I was asking people to just comment on my video and for the chance to win one each of these two cards. So this I will do at the end of the video. Before that, I'm going to talk about how I think you can turn $650 into $4,000 with Bitcoin. So if you're not interested in cryptocurrencies, then maybe this is not for you, but I take it if you're watching this live stream, which is called Crypto Corner, clearly you're interested in cryptocurrencies, maybe you're already involved. Now, why am I doing this stream and why I'm still talking about Bitcoin when everyone is so afraid of it? Everyone is really, it's been a whole year pretty much since the beginning of this year. We've been in a bear market, so it's been a whole year of very negative press, a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty and doubt in the media and everything about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. And I feel that as someone who really believes in the technology and who really believes that Bitcoin has a future, I kind of take it as my duty to actually keep talking about it and keep telling everyone, not to be so afraid, guys. Let me share this screen here where you will see this is a chart of Bitcoin. Many of you may think that, this is a chart, by the way, from 2014, and I'm showing you this because it is really similar to what is going on right now. Many people are thinking that because we've had 9 months of bear market, that things are going down and they're never going to recover, that Bitcoin doesn't have a future and all of that. So this is exactly what happened in 2014 throughout 2015 all the way until October when things started picking up. And we've had a massive decline of 85%. So the market dropped by 85%. Bitcoin had already pumped up to $1,200 almost previously in December 2013, and from there through the whole 2014 it was in decline, and it reached 200 at some point, even less than 200, 165 as far as I can see here. Now what do we have currently? So this is a total of 85% decline. What happened afterwards is this happened. We've had a massive jump. A lot of people found out about Bitcoin, a lot of new users, of course, a lot of use cases for Bitcoin, many more businesses started using it and everything, and the price started going up and up and up until at some point it reached a complete hype, which was last year December, and we got to the point where very briefly and very quickly, it went all the way to the 20,000s. It didn't touch the 20,000 necessarily, but it was almost there. It was 19,573. This happened last December. This was combined with the futures markets. Two futures markets were opening for Bitcoin. That brought a lot of big investors' money into the game. A lot of professional traders started investing in Bitcoin, and since then we've been on decline. This is the correction that many experienced traders were expecting. Many people were saying this will happen, and if you don't believe it, let's just take a look at what is that decline amounting to. So we are standing at around 70% decline currently. So this is where we're at. This, guys, is really similar to what happened in 2014. But 2014, that's, even if it's a repeat, you shouldn't really be thinking that Bitcoin is dead. I'm seeing so many posts on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media mainly, people who are not very experienced, who are claiming that Bitcoin is dead. I don't think this is the case, so this is why I'm doing this video. Now let me get my intro first, and I'm going to continue. Okay, so why I still believe in Bitcoin? Why do I think it's there's still a future in Bitcoin? There's many reasons. We are still seeing more user adoption, and that is the number one. Really the most important thing is user adoption. Another thing, which you will see from the interview that I will play to you later in this video. In a few minutes, I'm going to play you a video by Glen, Beck and Teeka Tiwari, who is a very respectful analyst and pretty much an expert on cryptocurrencies. So you will see what he's saying about it. This is a very important interview, so I urge you to watch it until the end. And then, of course, after that, I will be announcing the winner of the cards that I announced last week. So, and also I'm going to announce another contest for next week. So there's a few reasons for you to stay tuned until the end. But mainly more user adoption. Not only more user adoption, there is also a lot of businesses, a lot of very respected companies and businesses that are involved with cryptocurrencies. So all of those people who are claiming that Bitcoin is going to zero, that Bitcoin is rat poison, as Warren Buffett famously claimed, either this is not based on real research, or, which is much more likely, there is a certain manipulation going on. A lot of influential people are trying to put down cryptocurrencies, and in fact it's been proven now that they're the ones right now investing in cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin in particular, is really threatening the banking sector as we see it today, and this is one reason for the banks to really want to put it down, to make it difficult. In the beginning of this year, we saw that Visa, which was working with a lot of companies that were offering Bitcoin debit cards, suddenly Visa stopped that. It was one of their partners, actually, Wavecrest. Nevertheless, one of the reasons is that they are really trying to make it difficult for people to get involved. And while they're making it difficult for the common folk to get involved, they are the people who are buying it right now. This is a speculation. I cannot know that for a fact, but it is very likely, and you will see it from the interview that I will play you in a few minutes. We've had many influential people, though, who are quite pro-Bitcoin, who are talking about more user adoption, who are talking about a lot of new businesses starting to accept cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin in particular. It's always Bitcoin, of course, first. And of course, we have big companies like Coinbase now is valued at $8 billion. I mean, Coinbase, completely crypto company, $8 billion. We have Bitmain, which is also another giant in the crypto industry. Their turnover in the last year was $4 billion. Big money we're talking about. Binance, one of everyone's favorite exchange, or at least one of the top exchanges of cryptocurrencies, only cryptocurrencies for the moment, has got a bigger profit in the second quarter of 2018 than Deutsche Bank. This is what the banks are really afraid of, right? And also Overstock.com, a big online retailer in America, is rumored to be going full on crypto. You know, these are just some of the reasons that I'm quite bullish on Bitcoin. And bullish means that I think the prices will be going up. For those of you who are not traders and don't really understand this terminology. So these are just some of the reasons, guys. This is, and my video is titled "How to Turn, or Can You Turn $650 into $4,000?" because right now Bitcoin is trading around $6,500, right? Around there. Maybe right now it is 6,400 and something, maybe it's 6,500 and something. I didn't actually check the actual price just before I started the video, but it is in that range. So currently, if you put $650 into Bitcoin, and of course this is also hypothetical, you will be buying 0.10 BTC. And when I'm talking about Bitcoin, of course, I'm talking about BTC, the original Bitcoin, not any of the derivatives. You have BTG, Bitcoin Gold, you have BCH, Bitcoin Cash, and many people are arguing that, you know, these are also Bitcoin versions of Bitcoin, or whatever they want to call it. I'm really talking about BTC, Bitcoin. And there are quite a few predictions for next year that Bitcoin will be reaching 40,000. Now, I'm not really making this up, and that was also my prediction last year when it was going to 20. I was predicting that by the end of this year it should be reaching 40,000. First of all, when it will have to go to 20, it will have to go and test this resistance. This will be a massive resistance because there are so many people who bought Bitcoin here in the hype, you know, in the 15, 16,000s. Maybe some people even bought it here at the 18, 19,000s. So these will be people that will be looking to take profits, or maybe some of them are so impatient to get out that they will be selling. So it's not going to be a really quick jump. But quite a few factors point out to the possibility of Bitcoin not only retesting that all-time high of 20,000, but also reaching a new all-time high. And the new all-time high is very likely to be twice that amount. Now, why am I saying that? Let me play that video. Let me play this interview between Glen, Beck and Teeka Tiwari. As I said, Teeka Tiwari is a analyst and editor at the Palm Beach Research Group. Previously, he's been a stock market trader and a hedge fund manager. So he has a lot of weight when he's talking about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. So I'm going to play the video, and after that, I will continue with my commentary.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a really exciting night on cryptocurrency, which Bitcoin has had a bloodbath. And we're in the middle of something that is, if you are an investor like I am, a little nerve-wracking. This tonight is to show you some information that I think is pretty shocking and may actually, in the end, transform your life.
Right. Remember, there were two things that I said that were going to take the market higher. One was the technical action, and the second was there are a couple of things happening in Bitcoin that people are not familiar about.
And we have to get to that.
Okay.
Let's show a couple of things here. April or May of 2016, you're one of the first investment research publishers to recommend Bitcoin.
Right.
And that is, you recommend is $428.
$428.
One of the first guys.
And you know what? I got hundreds of emails saying it was too late. Why didn't you tell us to buy it when it was 200? Why didn't you tell us to buy it when it was 20 bucks? How much more potential upside could there be in Bitcoin? I would compare it with an Amazon, or I would compare it with a Microsoft. Both of those companies got absolutely demolished during periods of their early days.
Okay. Ethereum. Mm-hmm. You're the first person to seriously, you were just talking about
right,
that.
To actually write a proper, well-researched report on it, correct.
If you would have put $500 in.
Yes.
This is an amazing stat. If you would have put $500 in when you recommended, you would now have $78,000.
That is correct. This is the gains between March 2016 and July 2018. These are the gains that these luminaries have put up. So 15%, 21%.
So if I would have followed George Soros and did exactly what he said to do,
21.7%.
21%.
Yes.
Warren Buffett, who's the genius.
He is a genius.
Who kept me out of this when it was $30.
Yes.
28%.
Right.
You are 1,388%.
Over the last 2.5 years, and that includes the pullback, Glen. We didn't cherry pick those numbers.
So you're beating Warren Buffett 40-1.
Yeah. Yes, 40-1.
Right.
I mean, I've got some stats here.
Go ahead.
So anyone who followed my recommendations could have turned $10,000 invested, and this is including winners and losers, into $115,000 over a 26-month period. So since March of 2016, I've recommended 45 cryptocurrency plays. Now, the average winning position that's still open, that's not closed, that's my closed number, 1,388%. But my average winning open position is up 2,357%.
Open means it's still in play.
Still in play. We haven't sold it.
Okay.
There will be some ideas that go to zero. And so what you have to do is you have to use a uniform position size. You put the same amount of money into every idea. You never risk anything more than you're prepared to lose. And that way, you're going to under-own a loser, right? And you won't over-own a loser, and you won't under-own a winner.
Right. Because the gains are so spectacular at this
level. It doesn't matter if a couple go to zero,
right?
Because the gains are so huge.
Right. You lose $200,
right? And you make $40,000 on something else.
Correct. So that is, I think, really critical.
I'll share a quick story with you. Last year, July 12th, I'm in London attending Blockchain Week, and the entire cryptocurrency market is melting down like 37 to 42%, something like that. Bitcoin's down 40%. People are freaking out.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm getting emails. Teeka, why didn't we sell? Why didn't we sell? The whole market's down. We should have taken profits. I mean, I'm just getting inundated with mail. And so I'm in London. Bitcoin's down 40%. It's at $1,850 a Bitcoin. And people are losing their minds. So I just got a tip-off that there was going to be an announcement later that year that I knew was going to radically transform Bitcoin and radically transform the price of Bitcoin. So I get in front of a camera, and the market's falling apart, and I say, yes, Bitcoin's at $1,850 right now. Yes, Bitcoin is down about 40%. Bitcoin is going to go to at least 10K this year, and the entire market is going to 4X from this level. The hate mail that I got from making, you're irresponsible, how can you tell people this, you're giving people false hope. But you got to understand, Glenn, everything I say and everything I do is based on research.
Right.
So back in July, the reason why I was so bullish on Bitcoin is I had just found out that the CFTC, the folks that govern all the futures trading in the United States, had just approved the first step for a Bitcoin futures contract. So I knew once a Bitcoin futures contract started trading, a whole nother leg of money was going to come into the space. Mm-hmm. And 10K, I knew was going to be a low number. By the end of the year, we hit 20K. Now, if I had said 20K, I'm sure my publisher would have had me Baker acting.
And you know what? People would have said, you said 20, it hit 19.4,
right,
19.7.
Right.
You know, here's what I want to go to now.
Okay.
The question that I had for you the other day was, why are you calling this the Great Crypto Conspiracy?
Okay.
And when you explained it to me, it's really, people should go to jail, but it's not illegal. And it's an enormous robbery. Quite honestly, I think.
It's a huge transfer of wealth that's happening right now. The last time I saw something like this was back during 1994 to 1995. In the early to mid-90s, individuals were making just enormous amounts of money buying companies like Dell, AOL, Microsoft, Netscape, and some of these smaller internet stocks. And the institutions had completely missed that bull market. And so they were scoffing at these so-called lemmings. And so during 1994 to 1995, we had a bit of a bear market. And so, again, institutions were out saying that, oh, anybody buying internet stocks, you're idiotic. And so you had a lot of people selling their AOL, selling their Microsoft, selling their Dell shares. Guess who was buying? It was the institutions. If you look at a chart of institutional allocation to venture capital internet deals, it doubled between 1994 to 1995, which was exactly when institutions were saying, oh, this is just a market for idiots. Mm-hmm. Nobody should be buying this stuff. Mm-hmm. So they literally stole all this wealth that should have been in the hands of individuals that owned Dell, Microsoft, and AOL. And then from 1995 to 2000, of course, we saw $5 trillion come into the market, and the biggest bull market we've ever seen. So this blueprint of creating fear in order to get cheap prices is nothing new. So
and Tech, this is how the rich get richer.
Yes.
They know, they're connected. A lot of times they're coordinating.
Yes.
Without the insider trading. This is not illegal to do.
No, manipulating the news cycle, if you're smart about it, is they can get away with it. Nobody's ever been arrested for anything like this.
So now, with crypto, I know personally, I know people that would have gotten in or stayed in if these people weren't saying what they're saying.
Right, and so this has really been extremely egregious. So on September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks,
people listen.
People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
So it's just, so unethical.
Right.
Okay, George Soros.
George Soros, in January 24th, price was already down, calls Bitcoin a bubble, says Bitcoin is the worst, the worst investment in the world. Don't buy Bitcoin. Don't buy Bitcoin. Basically throws gasoline on the fire at this point. And then what do we find out? So he says bubble here.
It drops 44%.
Right. And then here in April, 2 months later, guess what we find out?
Yeah.
His $26 billion family office has approval to buy cryptocurrency.
Right. And we only knew about it publicly here. And this is the kind of thing that George Soros is famous for this, talking the sterling down.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He stole the pensions of all the little people.
Yeah, made $1 billion.
Yeah. Okay.
So then here now, Goldman Sachs, this, again, February 7th, most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Now, I remember when they said this in February, and I had, through my network, I knew that Goldman Sachs was setting up a crypto trading desk. Absolutely knew they were setting up a crypto trading desk.
And I remember you telling me that.
Right. And then, of course, they were denying it. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Price falls down 27%, and then what do we find out? We find out here, they say BTC 0, and then we find out just before May, new trading desk. Not only that, they put $400 million to buy a cryptocurrency trading platform. Okay, so February 7th, it's all going to zero. May, we just spent $400 million just on a flyer.
And they're not the only ones.
No. So you have a lot of institutions that are coming. You had Christine Lagarde from the IMF come out. And this was, what's funny about this, Glenn, is it was all around the same time. It was almost like I can't prove collusion, but, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck.
And you know what?
It's probably a duck.
The people, they all hang out together, they all think alike. It doesn't have to be calling each other.
Yeah.
They know this game.
Yes. So IMF, Christine Lagarde says in the first part of the year, says all central banks should band together against cryptocurrency. Right. Have you ever heard her say all banks should band together against illegal arms?
No.
Or illegal drugs?
No.
Or human trafficking?
No.
No. But this nascent asset class, we must all join arms against.
What this did was play into people's heads that these guys are never going to let Bitcoin survive.
Right.
And so people thought, this is over.
Selling, yeah. One of the key lessons I learned from being involved in the market so long is rather than listening to what people are saying, look at what they are doing.
Correct.
So this is what we should look at, and this is what I want people to focus on now. Billionaire hedge fund manager Stephen Cohen, who's worth between $12 to $14 billion, by far the smartest hedge fund manager in the world, I would say of the last century, is buying Bitcoin. $6,800, buying Bitcoin. Mark Lazary, Avenue Capital Group, worth about $1.7 billion, has put 1% of his net worth into Bitcoin at around this price, $7,500. Andreessen Horowitz.
Mark Andreessen.
That's right, Mark Andreessen. An early investor in Airbnb, Skype, Facebook, just launched and Coinbase, just launched a $300 million fund. Wellington Capital, they have $1 trillion in assets, are starting to get involved in Bitcoin futures. Susquehanna, the 12th largest trading firm by volume, they now have their own Bitcoin custody department, their own trading department, and they're trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. Goldman Sachs, this new CEO, David Solomon, the most pro-Bitcoin / cryptocurrency guy on Wall Street. The most pro
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs. He's the new CEO. He's coming into power shortly. BlackRock, this announcement just came out, the world's biggest asset manager. Now, last year, Larry Fink says, oh, you know what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin's good for?
Yeah.
Money laundering and drug dealers.
Right.
Right? So again, if you look at what he's saying, you're going to sell your Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
You're going to say, oh, this is all BS. But guess what is happening now? They're going to launch an ETF. They're looking at an exchange-traded fund that will allow anybody with a brokerage firm to make it as easy as hitting a buy button to go out and buy Bitcoin. So you've got to look at this preponderance of evidence, right? All these people are already wealthy. All these people care about their reputation. If Bitcoin is such a trashy asset, why are all these people getting involved? So this is one of the reasons why I say that Bitcoin is not a bubble, because if you look since 2011, we've had 4 major moves from lows to high, from lows to high. And even if you bought at the high of each move, you have still made money.
Right.
And that can't happen in a bubble.
No.
That can't happen in a fraudulent asset class. Because if you're not risking life-changing money, then you have the ability to handle that kind of volatility.
Which is, so then let's go to last chance.
Yeah.
Don't make this prediction, because I'm going to hold you responsible.
As you should.
In January 1, you say Bitcoin will be
$40,000. We will see $40,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. Do you want me to explain why?
Yeah, I was going to say, because of this.
That's part of it. This, yes.
And?
There's a bigger reason. Since 2014, people have been trying to get an exchange-traded fund, an ETF, approved by the SEC, right? So an ETF is basically like a mutual fund. It goes out, it buys stocks. It's a way to own a basket of stocks just with one stock. So people have been trying to do that for Bitcoin, because buying Bitcoin it's kind of a pain in the neck.
It's a hassle.
It's a hassle.
But buying Bitcoin, because of Mark Andreessen, is not as hard. Right. Some of the other ones, you just are like, I don't know how to buy this.
Right, they're difficult to buy.
Right.
So what an ETF would do is it would make it as easy to buy and hold Bitcoin as going into your Fidelity account, hitting the buy button, and buying any normal stock. Right? So that would automatically open Bitcoin up to trillions of dollars of new investment. Now, since 2014, when people have been trying to do these ETFs, I've said it's never going to happen. Right? There's no way the SEC is going to approve it. You had the Winklevoss twins, the guy that made a lot of money on Facebook, had their Facebook ID ripped off. They've been trying to do it since 2014. I said there's no way the SEC is going to trust. In their eyes, I don't call them kids, but in their eyes, a couple of kids with a Bitcoin ETF. There's just no way. And so it didn't get approved.
Why? Why?
Because they don't understand it. Two, they don't trust the Winklevoss guys. They don't know them. They're not Wall Street guys. And they don't think that they have the ability to protect the assets and protect the end users.
So they want to make sure that this doesn't become a giant disaster
because they lose their jobs. Everybody at the SEC will lose their job.
Yeah, well, that's not the point. Everybody in the country would lose their money. I wish they would.
But they're not thinking that way.
They're not thinking that way.
They're thinking about their jobs.
Okay.
So then you had two more established players, Van Eck and SolidX, come and try and do an ETF. And I said, okay, this is more interesting. Maybe they have a shot. And then just recently, and this is why it's got me so excited about Bitcoin and why I have no problem with this $40,000 price target, is that the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, one of the most trusted, most important financial institutions in the United States. It's up there with SWIFT, it's up there with the NYSE, it's up there with the NASDAQ. They do more derivatives trading there than anywhere else. They're the largest options trading clearinghouse in the world. They came in and they said, we will provide insurance for this ETF. And that is huge. So if it gets hacked, if there's fraud, if somebody loses the key, anything happens that could potentially impact the value of the cryptocurrency held, or the security of the cryptocurrency held there, they have insurance to cover it.
So now it's the big boys at the table. It's the adults.
It's the adults. They're not going to let the kids.
I don't mean it that way.
But this is the way they view it.
But that's the way they're thinking.
Listen, I have the highest respect for the Winklevoss twins. But this is the way that they view it. The CBOE and the SEC, they speak the same language.
Yes.
They're all the same people, right? They all know each other. They all go to the same places.
Right.
So the fact now that the CBO has put their stamp of approval on this, and I've never said this, unequivocally means that this ETF is going to get approved. Unequivocally. By the end of this year, RSK and Lightning Network are going to start to propagate across the network. So here's to think about it. It's the functional equivalent of going from a dial-up modem to broadband in a year.
Wow.
Right? Think about what that did to the internet, how it completely changed the internet, how much value was created when you were able to do that. And so that's what's happening with the Bitcoin network.
Okay, so can Bitcoin reach 40,000? Quite likely so. I think it's very possible. There's been some good news in the media recently as well, and we've seen quite a few of them, but let me point out one. There is the new futures cryptocurrency crypto trading platform called Beck, which is in collaboration with Microsoft and Starbucks, that is launching on the 12th of December. Now, this is what I want to read. I mean, you can Google it and you can find out more about it and why is it such a big deal. But this is quite important. Beck has partnered with Starbucks to process payments via Bitcoin on the coffee company's mobile app. You may be interested in the fact that Starbucks occupies the largest mobile app payment ecosystem in the United States, bigger than Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay, with 23.4 million users. So this is just one of the good news, just one of the things that will be happening very soon, right? This is in near future. This is in December. This is in 2 months from now. And of course, we're talking about more adoption. Adoption is really important, as they also pointed out, as Teeka Tiwari pointed out. It's also the whole user experience. Making it easier to invest in Bitcoin is also very important. And this is also coming. Lightning Network, some of the Bitcoin opponents are not really liking the idea of Lightning Network. I personally, I'm not an expert, I must point out, but I personally think that it's great for user experience because it will make the transactions faster and cheaper, and that's what everyone wants. And even without the Lightning Network today, the transactions fees are really cheap. Most of the time, when you're sending Bitcoin right now, you're paying a fee under 20 cents. And even though this is higher than what Bitcoin used to be a couple of years ago, when it was, first of all, it was pretty much free to send Bitcoin, then it was 1 or 2 cents and 3 cents, it is still possible today to get these kind of low fees on Bitcoin if you want. There are many wallets that allow you to change your fees. I actually have here, you will see that there are a couple of videos linked here in the icon up there in the corner. You will see another video where I'm showing you how to reduce the fees that you're paying when you're making a transaction on Bitcoin, because most of the wallets, or at least some of them, the ones that I'm using, allow you to choose how much of a fee you're going to pay, whether you want to pay a low fee, a high fee. And also it's been now for the whole year that we haven't really seen high fees. So and of course this is partially due to SegWit. SegWit adoption is also important because it was a way to reduce the fees. You managed to basically fit more transactions with SegWit, and that's very important. I've talked about SegWit a lot in last year and even this year in some of my podcasts. So if you've been following me, you already know about it. If you don't, you can just Google it and find out. There's tons of posts online about SegWit and how it helps for Bitcoin scalability, even though it's not necessarily a scaling solution on its own. So yeah, I am quite bullish on Bitcoin, really. And back to my point, how do I turn 650 into 4,000? As I said, with 650 today dollars, you will be buying 0.10 Bitcoin. If Bitcoin, and when, in my case, I believe that it will, so when Bitcoin goes to 40,000, 0.10 is 4,000. So there you go. This is your 650 going into 4,000 in a matter of, I don't know, it's a matter of months. I'm not going to go as far as to claim that it will happen in January or anything like that, but I'm quite sure that it will happen. And I personally think that it will happen next year. So again, back to this chart here that I'm showing you. This is back in 2014. It was no, this is the current. Okay, so this is where we are currently at. This is how it's looking right now, and this is how everyone is really scared. It's been going down and down and down and down, and there is no sign of a trend reversal. So let's go back to 2014 and compare it again, and it is here. Let me just make this bigger. Sorry guys, I didn't take my mouse with me right now, so I'm using the touchpad here. So this is how it looked back in 2014, very similar to what we are seeing right now. If you don't have the rest of the chart, you would think that Bitcoin was finished. Many people thought so. Many people sold it at loss, exited the market, and they didn't have the money to get back in. And this is what happened afterwards. It started growing and then it exploded. So is that going to happen again? Well, not necessarily in the same way, not necessarily as fast, but I think it's definitely going to happen again. And we're definitely going to see another all-time high of Bitcoin. And with time, Bitcoin will be reaching that 40,000. I mean, there are some other projections. There are other experts and analysts who are claiming even higher figures. We're having Max Kaiser talking about 100,000 per Bitcoin. We have John McAfee talking about 1 million at some point in the near future, not necessarily next year or anything like that. Mike Novogratz as well. I mean, there's many people who are talking about Bitcoin and are really bullish on Bitcoin. So this is why I'm also quite bullish on Bitcoin, not only my own research, but also the people I'm following. And now, okay, let me not make this any longer. Now it's time to announce winners. Let me switch to first I'm going to choose the winner by random. This is my video from last week. I was talking about different Bitcoin debit cards, and I was also talking about Revolut. Revolut is an online bank. It is not exactly a Bitcoin or a crypto bank or anything like that, but they do have the feature to buy and sell Bitcoin within the application on your mobile phone. And if you want to find out more about Revolut, I urge you to go and watch that video if you haven't done that yet. This is my interview with one of their directors. And I ask people to comment below the video so that I can choose a winner by random. So the first winner will be announced by random. This is my URL of the video. So what I need to do is just look it up here. And unique comments are 16, even though I have about 30 or something. So let's pick one random winner. Hopefully you can see that here. And the winner is Khaliza Hadi. Now I will ask Khaliza to contact me directly. You can find me on Twitter, and you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. My links are below the video here, so you can message me directly. And all I need from you is basically your physical address so that I can send you the card. It will be at my expense. The other winner I will pick myself. And reading through the comments and everything, I already have someone that I've decided to give this to, and it will be that first comment here, Jan Erik Ramussen, who's saying, I'm in Norway and I have a Revolut app on my phone and would love to get the card. So I'm going to oblige and I'm going to send you a card, Jan. So just send me a message. Again, you can find me on Twitter at BusyGeorgie. You can find me on Instagram at BusyGeorgie. Both on Twitter and Instagram you can message me directly. You don't even have to follow me on Facebook as well. You can also message me on Facebook even if you're not following me, even though of course I would prefer if you do. On Facebook I'm OJ Jordan, or BusyGeorgie, it's facebook.com/BusyGeorgie. It's really easy to find me on social media. So that's it, guys. I hope that you will be happy with and congratulations to the winners. Okay, so these are the winners. I am going to give away another Revolut card for next week, so make sure that you watch my video next week, which will be again on Wednesday around this time. I'm going to announce it on social media, the exact time. This time what I'm going to ask is that you take my link from below the video and you sign up for Revolut. The first person who signs up with my link will get the card. And then next week I'm going to announce another contest with another winner for another card. So I will keep giving away cards until I run out. So luckily I managed to secure some cards so that I'm not going to run out yet. So you still have time. If you're not the winner this week, you can be the winner next week. Or if you're not even the winner next week, the following week. Okay, so keep watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you are following me also on social media. I announced another giveaway which was on Twitter, and also on Facebook I announced another giveaway. So I'm doing a lot of this, and I will keep doing them. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. I hope this was really informative and it brings you value. Make sure you share it with friends. I think that the information in this video was quite important, especially the interview with Glen, Beck and Teeka Tiwari. So that's something that it's really worth seeing, right? So yeah, give me the thumbs up if you like the video. Leave a comment below as well, and the terms for the giveaway for next week will, again, just to repeat, you need to grab my link from below this video. I have my Revolut link there. Sign up with my Revolut link, and maybe just leave a comment below the video as well that you have signed up already, so that I'm aware. I can check that, of course, in my account. And I'm going to announce the winner in my next live stream. It will be next week, this time around on Wednesday. That's it, guys, for me. I'm gonna see you next week.